welcome to Ending the Stigma. My name is Chris, and I don't know if you can tell or not, but my voice is doing uh, really weird things, kind of croaky. So I apologize for that ahead of time. I was sick over the weekend with a sore throat, and my throat actually just quit being sore today. It moved from being sore. I could talk when it was sore, but now that it's not sore, my voice is going away. So go figure that one out. So anyway, I hope everyone's doing good. My guest tonight is doing really cool things. Like I wrote in the promo post, everybody knows about the Salvation Army. You kind of picture it of like a homeless shelter, and the people out in front of every store, everywhere during Christmas ringing the bell. Apparently, they have a rehab program too, which is just amazing to me. I didn't know about it, and Jason said not many people do. So you were talking about it, and I said, "Man, why don't you come on the show and just kind of tell us about it?" Because I think it's really cool, and I think more people need to know that there's options out there. If you're struggling with addiction, whether it's alcohol or drugs or whatever. So, without any further ado, I'm going to bring out Mr. Jason Clevenger. Hey, Jason.
Buddy, how we doing?
It's going good, man. How are you?
I am fan.
Good deal. So Salvation Army has a rehab.
We do. We are the best kept secret in the country.
Yeah, it must be, because I didn't have a clue. Not that I know about all the rehabs in the country, but that is really pretty awesome. So before we get into that, though, tell us a little bit about you and how you got started with the Salvation Army and all that kind of stuff.
I myself struggled with addiction for, I'd say 20 years of my life. Age 12, I thought I could do it on my own several times. And trouble with the law several times. Was really hip, slick, and cool. Could talk my way out of rehab until I finally got to that point of no return, and the judge says, you're going to have to go to find you something. My realization was whenever I'm in front of the judge and said, I don't know why you're letting him out of jail. He has no place to go. And now they wouldn't post a bond at first, and then the judge said, you out of jail, but you got to come back with a plan.
Yeah.
The plan was going to be, but I had somebody in my family that was connected with Salvation Army. Let's take you over to the Salvation Army. And that was in 2002. I went to the clean and sober ever since.
So 20 years. You've been sober for 20 years.
Good Lord willing, September 1st, I'll hit that 20-year mark. Break even.
Already.
Years.
That's what's
now,
up.
Be sober for 20 years.
That is awesome, dude. I've got when did I get locked up? 08. So almost 14 and a half years now. Yep, 14 and a half. Yep, February of 2008.
That's
February 20. I don't remember when I did my last line. I got arrested on February 28th, and so it was not very long before that. I know I wasn't high when I got arrested. I was sober because I was at work and I didn't mess around at work, but it couldn't have been but a day or two before that I was doing something. So tell us a little bit about the program, about the rehab. I mean, like I said in the intro, everybody knows, associates the Salvation Army with helping homeless people and giving back to the community and all that. Tell us about the rehab side of it.
Yeah, I was the same way whenever my uncle said, hey, we got a place for you to go, Salvation Army. I was like, I have a shelter. He says, no, we got somebody in our church that has went through the program. leading men's ministries and in the worship band and doing all that. And so they just kind of walk you through my story. That's how it played out for me. I walked in and they are a 6-month rehabilitation program, and you can stay with us as long as you need to get your life to complete the program. And you walk in and assigned to a room. There's 5-man dorms. Most people think you're going to go there and you're going to be in 100 guys, and no, we're not set up that way. We're in 5-man rooms. You have your own nightstand. They give you a big book and a Bible when you walk in, and the path. You get to meet a counselor. We have groups meetings that start at 5:30 in the morning. For those people who like to get up that early, there are people who like to get a meeting in at 5:30, and our last meetings end at 9 o'clock at night. What I really love about our program is the work therapy component of it. Everybody comes in, you get a summon, and they're like, well, why are we doing work therapy? Well, you know what? You get to practice the skills class in your anger management class. You learn how to suit up and show up because been out there. We are not very punctual. We don't know how to interact with other people, and you get to practice that. So for 8 hours a day, you do probably 10 to 12 hours of counseling and classes a week, and kinds of fun stuff. Like tonight, once a month, we have a celebration night. We had just celebrating people that have achieved the month, the most improved person of the month, the best mentor. We go to baseball games, football games, in North Carolina in 2 weeks, taking some guys there. We go fun things to show the guys that you can have fun in recovery.
And you don't have to be drunk or high to do it.
No, a lot of guys have never been to the things we take them to. We take them to an art show, art show. We take them to Recovery's Got Talent, and they're like, we didn't know there were kinds of things when you stop using that you can find to do with your life.
Right. I think that's important. Like all of that you just said, the structure, like having to follow, a schedule and be on time. Like people don't think about that, how important the structure is in programs like that, because a lot of times, if you're living in the streets or whether you're living a party life or whatever, it's time really doesn't mean anything. You're just doing whatever you want, whenever you want. So to be a productive member of society or productive person, you have to learn how to get up and go to work, even when you don't want to get up at 5:30 or 6 in the morning. You have to do the things you don't want to do. But then also, something you said that I think is key is weaving the fun in there. Because you can't, one, it teaches them they can have fun without being, stoned out of their mind. But two, you got to have the fun in there. You got to teach them how to have fun. So they know, because I don't know, my idea of fun was doing a line and getting into trouble,
Oh, yeah. One thing, when I came into the program myself, and my counselor sat me down, he says, what do you like to do for fun? Big blank look on my face, because I hadn't had any fun in so many years, because, we think when we're not having any fun, because as soon as the drugs run out or the alcohol runs out, then we're trying to, and he says, great, you're in a good spot, because now you can start, marking down some things like them. And that's what we teach the guys. You may not enjoy this, but go try. We take some guys to top golf, frisbee golf. And sometimes we'll just take them out to, go to the park. have a picnic, just doing
Yeah.
things different. Just
Yeah.
learning to do something that doesn't involve drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. And you're exactly right. Like when the drugs run out, I remember vividly, meth was my drug of choice, which was an upper. So, and I remember like you do the last line out of the bag and didn't have any money. It's almost an immediate downer.
Mm-hmm.
Like just mentally, because you're like, crap, I'm out. Now what am I going to do? I might as well
Yeah,
go to sleep. Yeah, and then sleep for 3 days.
that is not fun.
No, no, it's not fun. Not at all. Not at all. So how many of these rehabs does the Salvation Army have? Are they pretty? Yeah,
There,
tell us
we
about
have
that.
we have Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Fort Worth, and Dallas. So
Okay,
most major
cool.
cities. Oklahoma, we have Tulsa and Oklahoma City. And it's a major cities for people that are struggling.
Yeah, yeah. Teresa had a good question. What would you tell an addict that admittingly says he doesn't want to quit?
Well, doesn't want to go until he figures out he doesn't want to quit.
Right.
That's something I tell people. Requirements to come in the program are pretty minimal. You need to have a state issue to change, and I'm not flexible on the willingness to change. I will be a little flexible on the ID. I have parents
Right.
call me, wives, can you lock my husband up, or we're not a lockdown facility. This is something he has to make the choice on his own. Best thing
Mm-hmm.
family members is stop enabling the drug use. That's what I tell them. Quit bailing them out of jail. Quit buying them a hotel room.
Yeah.
Stop doing that if you want them, because pretty soon you've got to hit the floor before you can figure it's time to get up and go the other direction. But as loved ones, a lot
Exactly.
of times we like to put that nice and give them a place to land so they don't hurt themselves. But then they say, well, this isn't that bad. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. And I was going to say basically the same thing. If he doesn't want to quit, you can't make him.
No.
They've got to hit rock bottom. When I was out there messing up, my mom would pray, Lord, let him hit rock bottom, because that's the only time anybody's going to change is when they finally get the old saying, sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it's cliche, but it's the truth. When you finally get tired of it, I mean, it's just like, I still dip snuff. I don't want to quit, so I'm not going to quit. If it ever gets to a point where I want to quit, that's the only way I'll be able to quit.
Right.
Same thing with drugs. And you get so wrapped up in that lifestyle. Yeah. Hang on. I was reading her comment. You get wrapped up in that lifestyle and get wrapped up in doing it, and becomes such a part of your life that you honestly don't know that you're at the bottom. You have to get down so low that you have to look up to see down, is what I tell people.
Right. True.
Yep.
I was actually talking with a mother today, and she's like, our program a few times, and he's out living on the streets right now. And, can't you go pick him up? And he knows where we're at. We haven't moved our location. We're still in the same spot. Sending him money. And I said, bingo, that's the problem right there. He's on the street to help him continue doing what he's doing. She says, I don't want him to be hungry. I said, not going to food.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I promise you it's not going to food. Yeah, Teresa, and I was really fortunate. Like I only did drugs for about 2 or 3 years, but man, whenever, talked to so many people that it took them years and years and years and chances and chances and chances. And then people just finally cutting them off and giving up on them, and not giving up on them, but detaching and not enabling. Um, and some people just never do. Some people just never get it. But it's one of those things where they have to be willing, definitely.
That's something I always encourage family members. I said, even if the pain, you need to make some positive changes for yourself and set some healthy boundaries for people with their use. And I'll tell my guys here that, I'll start talking with their family on, and they're like, no, why are you sending my family now? I said, in case you don't get this, they can make some changes for them. So that, they're not going to support you in your addiction. And if you're going to continue to try to kill yourself on you instead of, dragging your family down to the bottom with you.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you that don't know what Al-Anon is for the families of addicts, families of people that have been affected by addiction. So, I mean, my family never went, but it would have been like my mom and dad or brother and sister, or friends or whatever, um, where they can go and get support and learn how to deal. And I really don't know a whole lot about it. Jason might be able to explain it a little bit better, because he probably knows more about it than I do. So why don't you? I'm sitting here trying to explain something I don't know anything about. So tell us about Al-Anon.
Basically, they have Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. I mean, now they have opiates, drug addicts, and they have a AA for an A for everything.
Right.
And really a group. So when you go in there, you don't feel alone. You don't feel like you're the only person. And that's what Al-Anon is. It's a support group for the family members, because the family people going through this, nobody understands what we're going through. And guess what? You walk with other people that are going through the exact same thing, and you help lift each other up. You learn how to set some healthy boundaries so you can, manipulated by the addict.
Yeah. And that's exactly what Teresa just said. She said addicts can be so manipulative, especially to the ones they know are naive. If you think for a minute they don't know which ones are going to give them money and which ones aren't, and who they're going to come around to, you are exactly right on that.
Now, I've actually done some family members when we get together to do an intervention, that an intervention is as the weakest link. And the alcoholic and addict is going to know is the weakest link, whether it's their sweet grandmother or their aunt, or they're going to know who that person is, and that's the one that has to hold the ground to manipulate. That's what the addiction. As an addict, we manipulate ourselves first, not hurting us, that we can quit at any time. All that stuff we tell ourselves. So it's easy for us to manipulate others because we're already pre-programmed to do it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and that's something interesting. You said that the weakest link is the one that's got to stand up the strongest in the intervention, so that the addict knows that they're serious.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to manipulate, because they're going to gravitate towards the weak one and try to play to their sympathies. And if they're being strong, they're going to be like, oh crap, this is for real.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Love it. So it's a 6-month program, but they can stay as long as they need. Now, what do y'all help them with? Like after they've completed the program, but say they're still sticking around, y'all help them with jobs and try to find housing and all that kind of good stuff too.
Yeah. We don't want anybody just to complete the program and then the environment, they're dealing with, because a lot of our guys that come into our program are, drug addicts. They've been living in us for, years and years they're normal, or the neighborhood they're living in, there's a drug house on it. So we tell them, no, you just completed the program. You don't have to go running out the door, because we're going to work with the next step. We try to get them into a safe, supportive living space, such as a living for people that can help hold them accountable. Because one of the worst things you can do for somebody in early recovery, the program, is to leave a really structured program and move into an apartment by yourself.
Yeah.
So what we do is we help
Yeah.
them, look for transition into a next step. They can stay with us up to a year. Sometimes even longer if they need it. If they're really working. Some of our guys get employed here at the Salvation Army. They work in our store. They're truck drivers, residential staff that that works with the guys are people that have completed the program. Here are we?
Love it.
The resume building, because a lot of us have never had a resume.
Right.
And work on some job skills. How to enter applications, how to fill those out correctly, and we help them find jobs.
Yeah.
We actually get them plugged in with our alumni program, and our alumni really act at least once a month to maybe do ice cream floats and movies for the guys. They have a monthly alumni meeting, and they just they'll do different events to stay connected, because addiction separates people. It's about connection. It's about building healthy connections.
Mm-hmm. I see your question, Teresa. Give me just a minute and we'll answer it. One thing you said, you keep saying stuff that's just like clicking. I love it. You put these guys that have no structure, hit them with all of a sudden all the structure in the world. They get used to it. They're working it. They're doing good. And then, like you said, the worst thing you can do is to throw them back to no structure without easing into it, because their poor little old minds have already been through so much in the past 6 months or a year. If you just, that instant change can be detrimental. For sure. Teresa had another question. How do you get an enabler to wake up and see that the addict is making their life miserable? Yeah, I know, right? It's a real good question.
It's sad. Someone's calling me on the phone and they say, "Hey, I'd like to get my son into your program. What does he need to do?" And I'll say, "How old are you?" And I'm like, "First thing, you're 55 and call us." Because it's been so entrenched to help them out and do everything for them. And that's one of the hardest things is for members to see that change that they need to make.
Yeah.
I'll have them come fix my son. And I'll tell them up front, we're not in the fixing business. We're going to give them some strategies to change their life, but you're going to have to make some changes. Why do I need changes? I'm not an addict. No, but you've been enabling this addict for 40 years or 30 years or 20 years. And if he comes into our program and gets all this changes, and then he comes back home and nothing has changed at home, one of those cliche changes, nothing changes, and then he ends up going right back to work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the tricky thing, because like you said, people get so hung up on, well, it's Johnny that has the problem. He's the addict. It's just a tough thing all around, Teresa. Like it's hard to get the addict to, you're not going to make him realize he needs help. There's no good answer to any of that. I don't think. It's just like you said, you have to be tough with them. I mean, you have to be with the enabler. You have to just tell them how it is. Look, you're doing this. This is all of that. And I think that's key is just the brutal honesty in it.
I tell family members a lot of time. I said, I know you love your son, but you're loving him to death.
Yes.
You're enabling so much. You want them to stop using and stop that lifestyle. Stop helping them in that life.
Yeah. Exactly. So when you and I were talking last week or week before, I guess it was week before, you had mentioned some ideas or wanting some ideas about like how to get the word out about what y'all do, because like you said, you've had people show up there thinking it was a homeless shelter and find out it was a rehab, but they didn't want that. They wanted the homeless shelter. People in the neighborhood don't even know y'all are there or that y'all are the rehab.
Right.
So I'm just going to like throw it out there. No, go ahead. What?
Yeah, we've been here like 40 people like, oh, is that a new rehab? No, we're here. And that's been one of our biggest separating the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center from and all the other programs. And just, for people to find out that, we're here, we can 40 people. And right now we have 100. So there's 40 beds open that people could knew we were here.
Mm-hmm. And y'all don't charge anything either for it, do you?
Willingness to change.
Willingness to change.
Sweat.
Some sweat. Yeah. You charge some blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. Working on yourself is not, it doesn't cost anything to come to our program.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. Especially in a day and age when rehabs got real popular when insurance started covering it. And then so you've got all these, fluffy kind of rehab places out there. I don't have any experience with them. I just kind of feel skeezy every time I see one of their commercials on TV. You know what I mean? It feels a little off to me.
Yeah.
But to have something out there that is absolutely free, it's an inpatient deal. It's not a lockdown, but it's an inpatient deal. You feed them, you house them, teach them all the things, and do it all for nothing. It's just like, it's amazing. It needs that needs the word spread. So if anybody's watching, anybody has any ideas on how they can get the word out, any marketing tips or any kind of ideas, you can put them here in the chat for a few more minutes, or if you want to DM me or Jason with them. But y'all rack your brains if you know of anybody that maybe you would want to do a little bit of pro bono digital marketing consulting or even any kind of marketing consulting or anything like that. Y'all let Jason know. Do what?
I said, yes, please. Time, we're profit, so I'm the program director. I do intakes, and I'm also our business development, all rolled into one.
And the social media manager.
And clue what I'm doing about that.
Yeah, right. Well, I would love to keep chatting, but my voice is fixing to go out on me. It's starting to get really tickly back there. And I'm fixing to start coughing. So, is there anything else you want people to know? Does anybody else have any questions? We can go a few more minutes longer, but is there anything else you want people to know, Jason?
If you got any ideas, let me know and tell people about our services. Mouth is one.
Okay. Yeah. Teresa does digital marketing too. Yeah, definitely hook up with him, Teresa. You might be able to brainstorm some ideas. Or we can chat too or whatever.
Awesome.
Yeah. I had a few ideas, but I'm not a digital marketer, so sometimes I may not know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I'm just talking. Hey, Darren Wallace, good to see you, man. Well, y'all, I appreciate y'all for hanging out. Jason, thank you for telling us about this. I hope this generates a little bit of awareness for it, and that the word gets spread. Tanya, I saw what you said about asking around. I appreciate that. Excuse me. I love what y'all are doing. Like, I love it. I can't even say enough how much I love it. Yeah, Fiona's laughing at me. Thank you, Fiona. And if yeah, y'all go connect with Jason. If y'all have any ideas, you can shoot them to me or shoot them to him, because I know he'd love all the help he can get in trying to get the word out there. And that was why he originally reached out to me a couple of weeks ago. Was like, man, I don't. And he came asking for help, and I love that. He said, man, we need to get the word out, and I'm not 100% sure the best way to go about it on social media. I know it needs to be on social media, but I'm not sure, you know. So we kind of chatted and brainstormed a little bit. But if anybody has any ideas, y'all let us know, because
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing that people need to know about. I mean, it's pretty bad. I mean, not bad, but it's pretty bad that when people on the block don't even know that there's a free rehab right there. You know what I mean? Word needs to get out about that, because there's people that need help, may not can afford rehab, don't know where to go, think the Salvation Army is just a homeless shelter and a store. Um, it's just amazing. I love it. So I appreciate what y'all are doing, for sure.
Had me on here today.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem at all. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go before I start coughing all over the place and really lose my voice, because I have to be able to talk on the phone at work tomorrow. So I'm gonna give it a rest. All right, man. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.